Good afternoon, all. Firstly, I would like to thank to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the first online conference on nonlinear dynamics and complexity. I wish you all fruitful discussions during the event and success. Today, I will talk about new aspects of computational biology revealed with modern fractional modeling. Here is the content of my talk. I will start with the motivation part, where I will show you some recent results of applications of fraction calculus in computational biology. The results show us very nice applications and the advantage of fraction calculus actually appeared in computational biology. Then I will remind you the classical definitions of some very well-known classical fractional operators like Liebman, Liouville, and Caputo definitions. Then I will mention about some possible application areas of fraction calculus, and then I will continue with some new aspects where I will present newly defined fractional operators where the singularity problem is removed and non-locality properties bring also. So they are non-local, non-singular operators which are newly defined. And then in the last part, I'll try to implement those operators on some on the modeling of some certain important problems of computational biology. Okay, so let's start with the motivation part. Here, firstly, I selected some few results recently published in the literature, and they are all related with mathematical biology. First of all, in the figure, you see the model output for the fractional order Gomber's model, which is used to describe the tumor growth. Okay, it's published in 2014 by Bolton and his colleagues. And they show that actually the fractional order Gomber's model, instead of classical one, where the order of the derivative is 0.68 instead of 1, gives much better results to catch the real data. And here the data set contains very few data points, but it's enough to show us the performance of the fractional calculus. Now I will show you another example, which is recently published in 2013 by Dietrich. And in this paper, the dengue outbreak, which has happened in 2009 in Cape Verde Island, is modeled. And on the left, you see the results from the from the integer order model. And on the right, you see the results from the fraction, coming from the fraction model. And it's very obvious that classical integer order model stays very weak to capture the behavior of the real data, where fraction order model has a better performance, where the fraction order is studied between 0.75 and 0.8. In a later paper published in 2019, here are the authors. These are from my research group, from our research group. The authors analyze an extension, a generalization of the results done by 2019 paper, done in 2019 paper by Dietem, and they analyze what will happen if we use different fractional operators within the same model, and also like Dietem proposed, what if we use different fraction orders for the vector population and host population for the same infectious disease model? So here the authors find out the optimal value for each fractional operator, you see, and in terms of both host and vector populations. And they realize that the ABC derivative has a good performance in capturing the real data behavior in the later stage of the disease, where ABC and Caputo, mainly, Caputo-Fabrizio and Caputo, mainly Caputo-Fabrizio, had a better performance in capturing the disease dynamics in the early stage. Okay. So why not to propose a hybrid model? So they proposed a hybrid model for the first half of the disease until reaching the maximum. For the first period of the disease, they use CF operator, Caputo-Fabrizio operator. For the later stage of the disease, they use ABC operator to model this infectious disease. So this may give us a clear motivation that the use of fractional operators is advantageous, especially if there is a power law behavior. And also in many biological processes, non-locality appears and memory dependence appears. So in this sense, fractional operators, fractional calculus gives us very obvious advantages. It lets us to consider more degrees of freedom of the system and also to include the memory effect. But on the other side, with this generalization, because fractional order operators is a generalization of the classical integer order operators. So this generalization brings us advantages, but at the same time some disadvantages, like losing some very well-known and useful properties in integration and differentiation, as well as losing the geometrical and physical interpretation of the derivative integral operators. We all know how this fractional order integral definition appears. By taking the n-fold integral, we have this expression. We remove the factorial term with gamma function, and here we have the power function inside the integral. There are two main, let's say, two main definitions in the beginning of fractional calculus. It is Riemann-Liouville and Caputo definition. These are, and in the Riemann-Liouville, the derivative n-fold derivative is outside of the integral. Here in the Caputo, it is taken into inside. You see this n-fold here. We have the power function also inside, and we have gamma function on the outside. So certain rules are still satisfied, but some certain rules is not valid at all in the case of fractional. Okay, so the main idea that having integration and differentiation of arbitrary order arise in a dialogue, or let's say discussion between Leibniz and L'Hopital in the period of 1695, 1675, 95. Then in time, many scientists and researchers, very famous ones, of course, as you see the names here, contributed to the progress of fractional calculus, and nowadays it's a very productive, popular topic, research area, and has really serious implementations in terms of real-world applications. So in order to save time, let me skip these basic definitions of Riemann-Liouville and Caputo operators. These are known as singular operators. They have some singularity at the initial point and so on. For example, Caputo-Fabrizio is more close to the classical operator in the sense that, for example, derivative of a constant is not zero, is zero like in the classical case, but still these are singular operators. But of course, in some cases, we may describe well the system by using Riemann-Liouville and Caputo. In some cases, we may well describe the system by using non-singular non-local operators like like metacoliflar derivative and CF capital factor derivative and so on. These are, I listed some application areas of fractional calculus, but these are not the only ones. There are several other. And in the next part, I will try to show you the recent developments in the area of fractional calculus. In 2015-2016, two new operators are defined. These are the reference papers. In the Caputo-Fabrizio, these are in the Caputo-Fabrizio fractional derivative operator, exponential kernel is used. So this fractional operator is without singular kernel. Where Lyman-Liouville and Caputo has singular kernels. As an extension, or let's say generalization of CF operator, AB derivative is defined in 2016. It's also called as fraction derivative with metacoliflar kernel. It is defined in both Caputo sense and Riemann-Liouville sense, and it's a non-singular operator with non-singular kernel, and it is non-local. So these are newly defined, let's say, recently defined fractional operators, and let's try to apply them on a real-world problem. I will just give basically their definitions. You see here we have an exponential term inside the integral. This is the normalization function. Here is the derivative definition. Here is the integral definition in Caputo-Fabrizio operator. As a generalization of CF operator, we have metacoliflar derivative, where instead of exponential function, metacoliflar function is used. Okay, so as you see in the definition again, just a moment. We replaced, it is replaced the fractional inside the definition. The exponential term is replaced by the metacoliflar function. Exponential function is replaced. And here again we have the normalization function. See, and it is called AB derivative in Riemann-Liouville sense and Caputo sense. Okay, as an example, let's try to implement these new definitions, new operators in the area of cancer. As well as there are applications in genetics, epidemiology, in any kind of contagious disease. Me and our research group study also HIV. We study some infectious diseases, also cancer, chaotic tumor models, and so on. Here there's one example, and it investigates the effect of obesity on the growth of tumor. Okay, and the model has four components like immune cell, tumor cell, normal cell, and fat cell. This result is published in 2019. And here in the model contains some parameters. Here is the table for the list of parameters. Here is the fractional model. You see for the dimensionality issue, we put fraction order. We introduce also to the parameters. So it's actually the model is quite complicated by fractional case, but still we are able to solve it. We solve it numerically by using trapezoidal method. It's a second order accurate quadrature based method. We consider equivalent initial value problem and integrate both sides and represent the solution as an integral equation, and then approximate the integral representation using quadrature based scheme, which is trapezoidal method. So we study the model under some biologically defined cases like high color diet, low color diet case. This situation is identified by the parameter B3. And also we define, we investigate the model within the biological situation that low immune response and high immune response. Again, it's identified by another parameter I will show you now. So we consider the same initial condition for all simulations. Here we the different values of fraction order is considered to see the difference 0.7 and 0.8. In the next figure, we obtain all cell values both within Caputo operator and Caputo-Fabrizio operator. So we study the same model within a singular operator and non-singular operator at the same time. So this is also what fractional calculus brings us as an advantage. So not only varying the order of the fractional order of the model, we also use different operators within the same model. So here, the biological situation is identified by the parameter rho. So if when rho is 0.5, we have low immunity case. When it is 2, we have high immunity case. And we get all cell values for all cell types. And we observe the following results among these simulations. In terms of the immunity response under high immunity or low immunity cases, the dynamics captured by these two operators, Caputo and Caputo-Fabrizio, are nearly the same, but there is a difference in the growth and decline of the cell levels, and they differ. They occur in different time periods, different time durations. So this is the advantage that using two different operators brings us. Okay. Another result is, as you see in the simulations, we take different fraction order and different tumor obesity rate, so which describes high calorie diet, low calorie diet situation. So we get the results, cell levels under these circumstances, and we can say that obesity and tumor growth are directly related with each other, but they are inversely related, inversely proportional to the rate of immune cells and normal cells. So when obesity is high, tumor growth is also fast. When obesity is high, or let's say when tumor growth is fast, we have low level of immune cells and normal cells. So in this sense, we obtain such relations mathematically, which is also valid biologically. So there is no contradiction. We have, as I said, with our research group, we have some other applications in chaotic cancer, chaotic tumor growth models, HIV, some infectious diseases, and so on. Maybe in further events, I will have the chance to present them. And I would like to thank also acknowledge the projects that I am involved in. Thank you very much for your listening, for your patience, and I am very glad to answer your questions. Thank you.